Hi there, my name's Michele Marsland and I run Marsland Accountants. And today I'm going to have a little chat with Chris Oddy about landlords and how we at Marslands help landlords. Hi, morning, Chris.
Good morning. Hi there. I'm Chris. Obviously, I work on a lot of the property accounts and landlords tax returns in the office.
Yeah. And who have we helped recently, Chris?
So we've recently helped one client with their property accounts and tax return, and it was a really good case because it meant that we were able to get them a refund, and really their return on investment with us was that we saved them three times as much tax as our fee. Which is a great thing for us for a landlord, and it's great that the client gets some money back from HMRC after um, paying too much.
So it's just an ordinary landlord, nothing special about them. We're just able to help them.
Yeah, exactly. And us knowing exactly the kind of things that need to be included in the property to ensure that it's obviously taxed correctly, and also us to make sure that all the employments and pensions and things like that gets taxed correctly. And if there's not, it's for us to look into and find out why it's not, and then make sure that if a refund is due, that we claim that and that the client gets their money back.
And
Uh,
do we have a frequently asked question that our landlords ask us?
Yeah, so one of the most asked questions that we get asked is, I don't have many expenses in the year. Is it even worth me including them? Well, we always say let us know what they are because we want to make sure that we're making the right decision with you for what can be claimed. But if it turns out that you're not got many expenses and it is under £1,000, we can still claim the £1,000 tax-free allowance as the expenditure instead to make sure that you're saving as much tax as possible. Because if you're only claiming £200 expenses, you're going to be losing out on £800. So it's just one of the many ways that we know to save clients tax that they might not know themselves.
And we use that for self-employed clients as well, I believe, don't we, as well? The thousand
Yeah,
pound threshold. So yeah.
yeah.
So as long as you've got more than £1,000 worth of income, whether it's rental or self-employed, it has to be declared on the tax return. But you can
Mm,
claim this £1,000 allowance even if you don't have any other expenses. That's
yeah.
simplicity of it. Yeah. Okay, great. And what about capital gains tax? What's happening on that at the moment?
So for landlords with residential properties, there's been no changes with it. So it's going to continuously be 18% for basic rate taxpayers, and then higher rate will be 24%. However, what the change they are bringing in will be is for the other types of capital gains tax, but they'll now be bringing them in line with that. So those will be changing from April to be 18 and 24% as well.
Okay, so everybody's going to have the same capital gains tax rates basically coming
Yeah,
forward.
for
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
the
yeah.
different things.
Yeah. And what happened about stamp duty?
So the stamp duty, that's going to be increased to 5% from 3%, and that will be for anyone buying properties with for already owning a property, so their second property, and it will also include limited companies. So it is an effect that will affect lots of landlords, depending even if they're limited or not.
Yeah, and I think the rates are going to go down as well, aren't they, next April as well, as to when stamp duty kicks in. But from our point
Mm.
of view, for landlords, it is going to start hitting them because it's an extra percentage that's already there. It was one of my budget predictions as well, actually, but I thought it was only going to go up to 4%, not 5. So there you go. One of the other things that they announced in the budget was about making tax digital, didn't they? What's going to be happening with making tax digital for our landlords and our self-employed clients?
Yeah, so from 2026, they've announced that Making Tax Digital will be coming in for anyone with over 50,000. So what that's going to mean is each quarter there's going to have to be a submission to HMRC to submit the income and expenses, and then there'll still be the annual submission on a tax return that will be required as well to make sure that obviously everything's going forward. The other thing that we need to note is that you're going to need either a software or a bridging software to be able to do these quarterly submissions. So it's really, if you are in that bracket, time to start planning to make sure that you're ready for that, because it will be obviously quite a big transition, especially if everything that you're doing currently is manual with paper and things like that. So it's definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, so so basically doing a set of accounts every 3 months rather than once a year sounds
Yeah,
like the that sounds like the upshot of it, doesn't it, really? Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, and we to be fair, we've known making tax digital is coming in for donkey's years, but this government has said yes, they're going to make it happen 2026, and by 20 well, by the time they finish Parliament, we're down to £20,000. So that's going to affect not every landlord, but most landlords sometime in the not too distant future, isn't it? So yeah.
yeah.
Okay, all right, Brill. Anything else in the budget people need to know about?
So we've also got the child benefit for high income earners. So originally that was 50,000. And anything over there, then you would have to start looking at paying it back. Doesn't matter whether it is your partner or yourself claiming it. However, they've now increased that to 60,000. So that will hopefully help a lot of people. And it's definitely something to watch out for because we're finding more and more people who don't know about it and they get sent letters and things like that. But the other thing to consider is that it is for the family. So if you're one part of it and you know your partner's claiming it, it still will affect you if you're over that 60,000 threshold.
Yeah, so it's between 60 and 80,000 it starts to be withdrawn effectively, doesn't it?
Mm,
And
yeah,
once one of you, that's why I say it doesn't matter which one it is, but only one of you has to go over the 80,000 threshold, then you shouldn't have it at all. So it might be the wife's claiming it, the husband maybe doesn't know about it, but HMRC do know about it.
yeah,
And they're bringing in a new thing. I think it's in 2025 as well, aren't they? Where we're going to get told about it finally.
yeah,
Yes, thank goodness for
thankfully.
that. Yes, because that's one of our biggest problems. Is sometimes the clients don't know, so how can they tell us? So HMRC are going to start telling us. So fingers crossed, their software will be up for it. That's all I can say. So yeah, so we're currently in sort of like the later end of 2024, so November, December time now. So what sort of patterns do we start to notice this time of year, Chris?
So the kind of things that at the moment is people bringing in their tax return information, because obviously we're getting closer and closer to that deadline. So whether or not that's a self-employed set of business accounts, or whether that's one of our landlords preparing their for their property, they're all going to be due in by the end of January, so the 31st of January. So yeah, people are coming in now to make sure that they've got their tax figure and all submitted before then. The only time that it won't be the end of January, um, if they're in the tax system already, will be if they want to have their tax coded out, and if they want so basically to get for their tax to be collected through their employment income, then they have to make sure that they get in before the 30th of December. So just over a month and a half away. So everyone needs to prepare their information if they haven't already.
Yeah, so basically, so tax coding out basically means that next tax year, HMRC will take the tax monthly from
Mm,
April 2025. They'll take it monthly rather than you having to pay it in one lump sum. But to
yeah,
do that, there's a couple of conditions, one of which has to be in by the 30th of December. So that's 30, not the 31st. That's always one thing to watch out for. And secondly, I think it has to be under £3,000,
yeah,
isn't it? That's right. So yeah, if you're thinking of doing that, the other thing I notice actually is we get a lot more inquiries this time of year from people who suddenly realise they've got to do a tax return.
yeah,
They say, "Oh, God, January's coming up. I best get on with it." Now, sometimes they might be right, and it is up to 5th of April 2024 that they need to get submitted by that date. And other times they might have only just started renting in the last couple of months, and they've got another year's grace. But we always say contact us earlier rather than later because it is a busy time of year for accountants, isn't it? Yeah, very busy. Excellent. Right. So testimonial time. So we got a lovely, we're very grateful to our clients actually, because sometimes they do send us some lovely emails. And the other day I had an email actually, which was really nice. Because basically this client has had a tax refund. And they sent me a little an email going, "Hi, Michelle, a lovely surprise. Funds all received. Thank you." And then on top of that, they put many thanks for the great service from your team. So isn't that lovely? And I mean, they actually, instead of just sending that email to me, they sent it to everybody in the office as well. So I think that's really lovely that not only did they want to say thank you, they made sure that everybody heard thank you as well, sort of thing. So that's really good news that you are giving a great service to these landlords as well. So well done, you and the team, obviously. Okay, so if somebody wants to become a landlord of Marslands Accountants, how can they get in touch with us? What's the best way of getting in touch with us?
So the best way for them to get in touch with us really is going onto the website, which is marslands.co.uk. And on there, they'll see there's a property tab. And if they click into there, it will soon to be, by the time this video is uploaded, there'll be a place to click, get a quote now. They have to fill in some basic information about their situation, and then that will generate them a quote and then give them an opportunity to book a meeting with one of the specialists who's going to look after them. So whether that's myself or my colleague Thomas, and they'll be able to then discuss their situation further and sign up with Marslands. Um, and yeah, that's really the best way. Obviously, this it will generate it as a Microsoft Teams meeting. However, if you would prefer a phone call, that is possible. Just leave us a note on there, and we'll make sure to call on the phone instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't make a call, then we're happy to deal with email because we realise that some people are working in the day. So sometimes they can't always make a call. That's fine. We just like the personal touch and we like to get to see who we're speaking to, don't we? That's all. But yeah, so yeah, we can do it any way as possible. But the thing is really is our new software coming very, very soon. It's very exciting actually. It's so that people can get a quote online as a landlord, and then they can understand what their fees are going to be before they contact us elsewhere. So that's great, isn't it? So yeah, so been working on that for quite a few years, haven't we? So it's going to be lovely to have it finally going live. So yeah, so and we look forward to the first people who use it. So yeah, so okay, lovely. Thanks very much, Chris, and time to shine.